Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. Hey guys, I'm Rain Younger, and it's another episode of Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. And with me tonight, I have a wonderful panel of guest critics. Tonight, we have Rachel Cole back to the show. Welcome back, Rachel.
Hi, I'm very happy to be back.
And the infamous Mr. Jerry Horror. Welcome back, Jerry.
Yeah, man. It's Gerald Finari, but my friends call me Jerry Horror.
There he is. Good man, good man. So, guys, how's it going? It's been a while since I've had the both of you on the show. This is the first time I'm having you here together. But Rachel, what's going on? How you doing?
Well, of course, with October coming up here, I'm thinking a lot about my Halloween costume. So that has been taking up my time, especially today. Today has been a big day of working on that. So very excited. Don't want to give anything away too soon, but
Awesome.
I'm sure that lots of people listening are also working on their costumes and getting ready for the holiday.
Are we going to see you at New York Comic Con this year?
Uh, it's still up in the air, but I would love to. It's just a question of timing if it will work. So
Yeah. Well, it'll be amazing to see you in person and to just celebrate geekdom in all its glory. I will definitely be there that Saturday and Sunday with the Ghostbusters, the New York City Ghostbusters to be exact, with our patented slime lab for the kids and the adults. They love it too. So that should be fun. And that is next month. October is New York Comic Con month. So stay tuned for more updates with that. Mr. Horror, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I can't complain, man. Every day above ground is a blessing, you know?
Yes, I love it. I love the positivity. You need that in life. And yeah, it's good to see you again. This is your second appearance on Under the Radar. So welcome back, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure, sure. So, guys, we've got two movies to review, one new, one old, and they've got some parallels with each other. The first one is currently in theaters. It's called Bottoms, and it's a strange one, but I enjoyed it very, very much. This might be my favorite teen comedy since Superbad.
Wow.
I can't think of anything between then and now that has been so good, such as Bottoms. I mean, this movie is just so original. It's got fantastic, razor sharp writing. The performances are fantastic. The direction's on point. It's directed by Emma Seligman, who actually worked with one of the stars, Rachel Sennott or
mhm.
Sennott? Rachel, back me up here. Sennott.
Senate, I think.
Okay, so she actually worked with the director Emma Seligman a couple years ago for Shiva Baby, which was a really unexpected hit, really, really funny in its own right. It really highlighted Rachel's comedic talent. She anchored that film exceptionally well, and she continues, if not stronger, with Bottoms. And she has basically teamed up with another fantastic actress, another name I'm going to butcher, Ayo Debriri. Wow, forgive me, but she is very good. I know her because of Rachel. Actually, Rachel introduced me to a great show on Hulu called The Bear, and this young actress she's fantastic. She's got the dramatic chops in Bear. She's also really funny, and Bottoms is no exception. This movie has it all. I'm just going to talk about the plot real quick. It's basically about two high school seniors, two lesbians, who basically start a fight club in their school so they could get close to the cheerleaders and hook up with them. And it's a ridiculous premise, but it works on so many levels. It's just a lot of fun. It's hilarious. Like I said, the direction and also the writing. The writing is just on point. I can't praise this film enough. It's just super original. And Rachel, since I think you brought this to my attention, you brought this on my radar. What did you think of Bottoms?
Well, I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to see it again. I was actually kind of hoping I would get a chance to see it twice before reviewing it here, but unfortunately, getting out to the theater is a little bit more difficult with my profession. I work in pastry and my hours are very strange. Um, but I was so excited about for one, the cast, and two, the writing and directing talent behind this.
Yeah.
As you said, Shiva Baby was just such a surprise. I think I probably would not have necessarily known about it initially if it weren't for this show, because my husband Eric was on the show reviewing it with you.
Right.
So, and after he watched it and went, wow, that was really good. You really should see this. I remember later catching it on HBO Max. So, and I believe it's still available on HBO Max. I might be wrong about that, but I think it still is. But it definitely draws a lot of influences from these sort of hyper reality teen movies and teen shows, like things like Heathers, things like Jawbreakers, and actually the second film that we'll be talking about tonight, Saved, was specifically mentioned by the filmmaker as a major influence on this movie. And I think it's really nice that the marketing for it has not really given away too much as far as the plot and the vibe of the film. It really kind of lets that be a surprise for the viewers. Because really saying that it's a fight club in a high school is just very much minimizing what you're getting with this experience. Yeah.
Yeah. The elements are all there, their own place. And yeah, the less you know going into it, the better the outcome, I think. But Mr. Harriser, what were your thoughts of Bottoms?
I try to review every movie that I can as far as anything that's coming out in theaters or anything that interests me. I gave Bottoms an 8 out of 10, which is a really high score for me. It's been a fantastic year for female-driven comedy. You know, we got Joyride, we got Barbie, and Bottoms is no exception. It might be the funniest movie that I've seen all year in theaters. I loved it. It's an inversion of the 80s boner comedy, except we've swapped genders. We're doing some different things. It really works, and it proves that you can do a dirty comedy that might offend people, and it's lovely. It's just lovely to go see comedies in theaters.
Yeah, I honestly I can't think of the last decent comedy aside from this and Barbie that like really made me laugh out loud. It made me like just like I'm glued to the screen. I want to see what's going to happen to these characters. And even the supporting cast is fantastic here. You've got the jocks, you've got the cheerleaders, you've got
you've got Jeff.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you've got the great teachers who are like, they don't really give a crap, but they're there anyway. They're hilarious. And yeah, I think, I'm going to go back and say that prior to this, my favorite teen comedy might have been Booksmart, which was another great female comedy. But yeah, I think also there's a lot of great talent here. I mentioned the acting. There is one actress who was in the reboot of Willow. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yes, and it's funny because even going back and rewatching clips from it, I kept thinking, I'm like, I know that I've looked this up before, and I know that I've seen her somewhere, but I can't remember where I've seen her. And every single time I go to IMDb, and I'm like, yes, it was Willow. That's it.
And this movie towers over that, insult of a TV show.
Agree to disagree about it, but
that's a separate discussion, actually. Yes. But yeah, I also want to mention Elizabeth Banks produced this film, which was interesting. So that's good. She has a good eye for a quality project. And yeah, just this movie, yeah, I can't praise it enough. It's funny without being too offensive. It's in this age of wokeness, it's just refreshing to see a quality comedy come out of Hollywood these days. So yeah, guys, I think it's unanimous. We would recommend this film to other people, right? We would. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Go out, go see it, support this movie. Support what these writers, directors, talent, what they have coming up next. So, but definitely go see Bottoms.
Yeah, because in a couple months' time, this might be the last great comedy that we see in theaters, unfortunately. With the strikes, I'm just putting it out there. Everybody knows it's kind of true. It's depressing, but at Under the Radar, we promote good art, and hopefully we'll get new art in the coming months. So I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it's a great opportunity to go back in the meantime and check out the previous work of these people. Check out Shiva Baby.
Yeah.
Of course, check out The Bear, as we've mentioned
Yes.
before, and Abbott Elementary, some of the other wonderful things that that they've been in this past year. Even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a
Yeah.
Bottoms alumni
Right.
in it.
And also,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I just wanted to quickly mention Rachel, like literally like 15 minutes before we started recording, you sent me some really hilarious clips from Comedy Central featuring the leading actresses here in Bottoms. And these two, I think, are poised to become like the next great comedic duo. And I want to thank you for bringing them to my attention. So that's great.
Yeah, this was 3 years ago from Comedy Central that
Oh,
they
it
did
was?
this like
Wow.
mini series show called Io and Rachel Are Single.
Right.
And it only lasted, I think it was listed as 3 episodes. I don't know if this was an online only show for Comedy Central or maybe something that they stuck in one of the late night slots,
Hmm.
but it's very funny. There's a lot of it available on YouTube.
Were they just shorts, or was it an actual series?
I'm not actually sure because the
Right.
reason why I found this was because I was looking up clips from Bottoms to kind of refresh my head on it before we got in to record this, and it came up and recommended.
That's great. I love both of these actresses. They're so good. They're, again, great timing, great writing. So really good stuff. Um, Jerry, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter now, but um, I was gonna say really, and it's gonna be on Paramount Plus tomorrow. That new Mutant Mayhem, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. I did not have that on my bingo scorecard to be the best animated film that I saw all year so far.
Really?
Yeah.
That good, huh? That good.
I I'm telling you, the other night my friend played it backyard, on the bedroom sheets, and I got to tell you, from the kids to the grandma and grandpa, everybody liked that Ninja Turtles movie. It's a
See,
definite recommend.
see, that's what a summer blockbuster should do. It should attract every age group, every sex, everyone. And I'm so happy to hear that because I have heard really good things about the new Ninja Turtles. I just haven't got around to it personally. I know that Seth Rogen's involved and Evan Goldberg. I think they both wrote it. So again, it kind of goes back to that super bad vibe, but a little more family friendly. So that's good to know. Good to know, Jerry. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Could I say one last thing actually about
Sure.
the writing for this movie? There was something that was said by the director and writer of this film at South by Southwest. She was talking about some of the jokes in the movie and that it's like it's a question of, is this joke too stupid? Like, do we keep this joke in that they just like, and they were like, yes, absolutely, we should. And I think that's what really works for the movie also for me is that a lot of the humor is really surprising. It's really hard to nail it down in like one category that you're doing. Oh, this is like, kind of Dumb and Dumber humor, or this is like book smart humor, or this is like it's really difficult to just like narrow down to one thing. So when
Right.
Marshawn Lynch comes out and has a joke about the existence of the Holocaust in his history class, then it strikes you and you like it just like really just gets like a very surprised laugh out of the audience because there hasn't been anything up to that point that's like really quite that subversive and funny.
Yeah.
But there's just all sorts of really good laughs in it.
Yeah. And that tone, it's got like 80s and 90s vibes kind of interweaving with each other.
Yeah, but the feel of it, like they'll have references that are very recent, as
Right.
mentioned about Entourage coming up in one of the jokes.
Right.
So it has this very timeless feel to it. You can't really nail down exactly what years this is supposed to take place.
Right. It is truly timeless. Um, I know that it's not doing so hot in the box office right now in theaters. Um,
Well, I think it's still very limited release. I don't
uh,
think I don't think it got the sort of nationwide release. I think
right.
it was mostly major cities.
But like
And,
with all
and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I don't know how this film plays to middle America. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know, because you've got two young women who are lesbians.
Right.
And to a lot of people, that's still a very frightening concept. Just one thing that I was really impressed. She was talking about the writing. The writing's punchy. It's fantastic. The secret of comedy is rhythm. You have to have a, you know, joke, 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 or joke, beat, joke. For me, the craziest thing about Bottoms was Marshawn Lynch, who
Yeah.
he's the MVP. He steals the movie as the gym teacher.
Mhm.
He made this movie. You know, he got wind of the script. His sister came out to him, and he felt like he didn't support her enough. So this movie was kind of his love letter to her. To, you know, it's like, I'm gonna help the culture because I didn't deal with this situation in a proper manner in my life. And you know what? Just to see something beautiful come out of this, it makes it even. Just go see Bottoms. It's so good.
It's a fun one. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I will say that across
Yeah.
the Midwest, you do have those little pockets, those cities of, I mean,
Yeah.
gay people exist everywhere. That's
True.
that's just the fact of the matter. As much as some of these states might want to deny it, like, still exists.
Of course. And if this movie doesn't, you know, earn the big bucks, which it should, it will most likely become a sleeper hit down the road, which makes me very excited because then there'll be a new audience for it, and in the next generation, we'll see it too. It's just a wonderful film. I love Bottoms. It's on my, I think it's on my top 10 for the year so far.
Yeah.
Rachel, would you agree on your top 10 or?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be in my top 10. It's just a question of as far as where ranking is going to be for it, but definitely good movie. Very
Yeah.
good movie.
Awesome movie. All right, guys. So now I just wanted to get into another teen comedy. Now, this is a retro review. This film, it's called Saved, and it's from 2004, and it's got a really strong cast. You've got Jenna Malone, Mandy Moore, Macaulay Culkin in a rare role, Patrick Fugit, Martin Donovan, Mary Louise Parker, and Ava Amori. And basically, it's about a very religious Christian school. Basically, Jenna Malone is the lead here, and her boyfriend actually comes out as gay, but she refuses to believe that. So she basically loses her virginity with him in an attempt to, quote unquote, cure him of his homosexuality. But in doing so, she herself becomes pregnant. And we get all these religious and philosophical issues that arise from this pregnancy. And it's a really funny comedy. It's for its time, it was, I guess, a little bit groundbreaking. And the cast is great. The writing is again on point. And yeah, I actually just watched this for the first time a couple of days ago. Rachel, you recommended this to the show, and I'm glad you did because it does have very similar vibes to Bottoms, kind of like that, those loners who just are trying to like navigate religion and family pressure and pupil pressure. It is all there, and it is really funny. But Jerry, what did you think of this 2004 gem?
Well, one thing to put in perspective is that this movie is almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
And how much has really changed other than the
Yep.
technology and the haircuts? Not much.
Yep.
So, you know, it's one of these things. Like, I also watching Macaulay Culkin in this, like, he's one great role. Like, I feel like he hasn't had that great adult role just yet, but I think he will. It just, like, even the casting, like Mandy Moore is one of the leads in your movie. Yeah, it's from the early 2000s, you know. So, and Mandy Moore, Entourage alumni. She was how yeah, it look, not to I'm not going to digress too much, but the reality of it is that Saved is one of these movies, and I felt just like Bottoms, it's a cult classic. You know, it's one of those movies that, hey, everybody might not like it, but those who do love it.
Yeah. Good point, sir. Yeah. I remember hearing of it when it first came out. I think I was in my second year of college, and I wasn't really into it. I really wish I had seen it back then, but I'm, better late than never. Not much has changed in the terms of society and religion, and it's a very strong commentary on that. It's a satire, really, at its core. But yeah, I'm glad I caught it this time. Rachel, when did you first discover this movie?
I first discovered this movie, I had heard about it when it was being made and when it came out.
Hmm.
I was kind of following some of the development of it because due to the subject matter and my involvement at the time in what was a very kind of similar evangelical church, um, it like the two worlds kind of started to collide a little bit because the evangelical church, for the most part, was not very happy about this movie.
Mhm.
And in fact, there's actually a kind of little fun throwaway line. Um, Partway through the movie, she mentions that Mandy Moore's character made her listen to the entire Elms CD. And the Elms is actually the band that was supposed to play at the prom at the end of the movie, but they dropped out of the film when they saw the script.
Wow.
And so they obviously changed up the band for the end, but they put in the line about her making her listen to the entire Elms CD. So this is definitely something that the evangelical world was aware of and were not very happy about, mainly because it's kind of one of those situations of the filmmakers being like, this is who you are, and just kind of holding up a mirror to it. um I this when I saw it, I think it was out on DVD when I finally did see it, but it was just very impactful for me, having grown up in that sort of culture. It also, I told this to Randy like before the episode, but I think this actually might be more impactful, and I think actually a better movie for me than Mean Girls, which I know is similarly very impactful for a lot of women in my age group that
Mhm.
growing up and getting to see that. And I and I think that Mandy Moore kind of gets overlooked as such a great villain in this, in the same way that Rachel McAdams kind of gets overlooked as a villain in Mean Girls as Regina George. I feel like Hilary Faye is very much cut from the same cloth, but has this whole other righteousness to her character that makes her even more fascinating to me than someone like Regina George.
Yeah.
Um, and of course Patrick Fugit, which of course when he shows up in the movie, they say that he's coming back from a worldwide skateboarding tour for God. But in my mind, I'm like, no, he's just coming back from his tour in Almost Famous.
Yes. Those are like,
It's
yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, those are like the only two movies I really know Patrick from. So, but this performance, he kind of grew a little bit in terms of being an actor. So it was nice to see that performance. Sorry, Jerry.
No, it's the fugit of it all. He was like poised, especially after Almost Famous, to be this big deal, and he does a ton of movies. And I felt like he just kind of disappeared.
Mhm.
Maybe from some of this bigger stuff. He turned up. What was the Ben Affleck film, The Gone Baby Gone?
Yeah,
Mm.
Um,
he was
I
supposed to be in
always
that.
he's in it. He plays a cop, and it was just
Yeah.
Oh,
nice. It was nice to see him pop up. It's one of these things. Like I said, this movie's 20 years old. It's still biting. It
yeah,
still works. Saved is a definite recommend for
yeah.
for me at least.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even like roles from Mary Louise Parker in this. She's
Hmm.
adorable in this movie. She is so, so cute in this movie. She just nails that sort of that mother that you would find within these evangelical churches that is still considered to be, oh, she's kind of the cool mom. Like
Yeah.
she's the one that you would go to if you were really having a problem.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
granted, in Saved, she doesn't necessarily do the best job initially when confronted with a crisis, but um, she just has a lot of throwaway lines that are really very funny. Um, like with Hilary Faye, that she refers to Hilary Faye as a, uppity, I think it's Uppity Hoochie Coo or something like that. It's just
Like,
something so ridiculous.
I honestly, I think it's Mary Louise Parker's one of her definitely top 5 best performances. Aside from Weeds and all that, and she's really, really good in this. Also, I want to give praise to Martin Donovan, who basically plays the same character in everything I've ever seen him in. He plays the head of the school, who basically strikes up a romance with Mary Louise Parker. They are really funny together. And it's just great how much of a straight man he is amongst all the madness. And it's totally believable. So kudos to Martin Donovan. So yeah, Saved again. I only saw it for the first time recently, and I'm glad I did. I would recommend this highly. I'm pretty sure it's streaming out there.
Yeah, it is. I think at least for a while longer, it's going to be on Amazon Prime. But I think I saw a notice on there saying that it's going to be leaving in a few weeks.
Oh, really?
So maybe it will be moving somewhere else at that point. We can only hope.
Yeah, because side note, I did see that Terminator 2 is no longer on Netflix, or it moved to like Paramount Plus or one. So there's a lot of shifting of like these classic films. So if you can catch Saved, then all the power to you. So all right, guys. So we have a couple of minutes left. I just want to go around and see if there's any plugs you guys have, anything, any projects you're working on you want to mention. Rachel, take it away.
Well, you can always find my work at the Law of Donut Engineering. We have a new menu every month of different donuts. So we've got October coming up here and going to have some fun spooky flavors going on. And we have some really great flavors currently, like our French toast stuffed donut, which is delicious.
Oh my God.
Um,
Sounds amazing.
and our guava flan, and we also have a pumpkin cheesecake one that is delicious as well, and a tres leche.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. The French toast donut sounds very intriguing. and
I'm very proud of that one. That one turned out really delicious.
and now this is an actual store. You don't have like a food truck that you have that.
We do not have a food truck, but we are at two different farmers markets on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. On Sundays we're at the Riverview market, and on Saturdays we're at the Van Verst Park market. Both of those are in Jersey City.
Awesome. And if I didn't live in Queens, I'd be there every day. That's awesome. I love it. All right, Jerry, any plugs for you, sir?
Yeah. All this donut and pastry talk is, I feel a little hot under the collar. That's all I can think about now, especially that tres leche. But in all seriousness, I have a podcast called The Offering with Jerry Hara. It's available everywhere. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's deep dives into the production history of films that were notoriously difficult to get made. It's the stories behind the stories. This week we're doing Xanadu. I'm very proud of this episode. It's a different type of show. I don't have guests. It's just me going deep into it and kind of maybe even working out some mental trauma along the way. Yeah, I love Xanadu, and I'm just very excited. And hey, if you get a chance, The Offering with Jerry Hara, go take a listen.
Sounds good. I'll be tuning in for sure. That sounds cool. So yeah, I love how you both have things cooking, the two of you, and I highly respect that. It's awesome. And as for me, plugs for Under the Radar, just feel free to tune into Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific for new episodes there. That's the video version of Under the Radar. And for the podcast version, which you're listening to right now, this will appear on Slam Radio SXM through Sirius XM channel 145. So tune in, check that out. A lot of fun new content, a lot of reviews, and also check out the YouTube channel for Under the Radar, where you have special videos, including a bevy of interviews and miscellaneous content. So check that out as well. So, Rachel, Jerry, thank you so much for tonight. This was an awesome episode. I'm so happy you got to spend the half hour with me, and you guys are always welcome. So, I look forward to seeing the both of you again in the future.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, anytime, anytime. So, I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
You're Gloria Steinem.
Gloria?
Gloria.
Gloria.
I am. I want to write about the women's movement.
What movement?
Very few jobs actually require a penis or vagina.
Well, all the magazine people said don't do a lesbian story in the first issue, so I feel like we need to do a lesbian story.
Gloria Steinem should rot in hell.
You can't associate yourself with those crazy women.
I am one of those crazy women.
Can we change the world?
Yes, we can.
She says women!
How'd you get the name Man Killer?
I earned it. You earned it.
We gotta stop sucking and begin to bite.
This is the year of women's liberation.
If you avoid conflict, my darling, conflict will seek you out.
Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is a very special edition of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And with me today is Academy Award-winning film composer Elliot Goldenthal of the new Gloria Steinem biopic, The Glorias. The film focuses on the life and times of women's rights activist Steinem. Elliot, good evening. How are you?
Hi, Randy. Hi. Good evening. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So the film is great. I loved it. I loved the performances. I loved everything about it, especially the score. Tell me, what attracted you initially to the project?
Well, all of Gloria's life. And I kind of knew peripherally, I can say, a distant friend through the last 20 years, 30 years of my life, Gloria was. And Julie was reading her book called My Life on the Road. And that was, it's kind of almost a stream of consciousness, a journey through her whole life. It's not a biography so much as it is, thoughts on during her travels throughout her life since she was a little girl.
So basically a journal, a diary of sorts.
Yes, yes. So Julie was very excited about it. I read the book, and then they got into the, Julie wrote the script, and it was very, very exciting to watch it unfold. But in cinema, in movies, unless you write pre-records, like I did in Frida and Titus and things like that, for dance sequences or choreographer purposes, your score I like to wait until the last minute. So when the Julie has an assembly and a director's cut, then I get really busy.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's great. So like many of your other films, there are many musical styles represented here. What is it like juggling so many styles and tones in one score?
It doesn't feel difficult as long as I find a constant. You know, when a life takes place from 1930s to the present, you run into all sorts of stylistic and chronological development of the musical forms in America. So it's nice to have it represented in some form or another. The various composers had their own strategy. Nino Rota had a certain flair where you can feel his personality in every period he writes in, you know, but it reflects the periods. In this movie, it keeps going back to a magical realist place, which is a bus, a Greyhound bus on a long, long stretch of highway. Looks like Big Sky, America somewhere. And that bus is able to bring in various Glorias at different ages, from a little girl to a college-age girl to a mature woman to an old woman, and have them have conversations, all four of them, about reflecting on various events that haven't happened or happened in the past. So it's kind of like a Twilight Zone-y kind of thing. So that gave me a constant to go back to. And I find that a very, very simple device is the most American sound from at least the 1940s to now is the amplified guitar. We heard it in early jazz records during the 1930s with a gentleman named Charlie Christian, up and through the rock and roll era, and et cetera, so that something about a Greyhound bus and a long highway, I can't, separate it from the amplified guitar, long lyrical chords,
So the bus is basically the theme or the driving force of the film, it seems, and definitely the score.
It turns up throughout the movie, and that's very helpful to me because this way I can have the sonority, the sounds that are used on the bus, guitar, harmonium, accordion, hammered dulcimer, glass harmonica. All those things can be weaved into other chronological events in the movie from the 30s to the present.
So how easy or how difficult is it to connect the music to the visual?
Well, let me back up a bit in saying that it's always good to have motivic material. That's whatever form it is, whatever it sounds like. It's based on a tight little structure. The best thing in all times was Beethoven's Fifth.
Sure.
He created that little kernel of musical idea he created a universe where you think it's not there, it's there. At the end of the movie, the end of his symphony, you hear bum bum beam ba 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 da 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 da. There it is. You wouldn't recognize it, but it's all over the place. Right. And I try to aspire to do similar things in a movie where I find a theme that gets manipulated and through modified repetitions and variations throughout the movie, it takes one into a more cogent space.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I
Wow.
hope you.
That's a lot. This is good though. I like that.
I know.
Good answer. Good answer.
The Goldenthal lectures.
Yes.
Sorry.
Talk to me a little bit about your working relationship with Julie.
Yeah, it's not unlike every other director I work with on multiple projects. For example, Neil Jordan and I worked on 5 movies. Michael Mann, 2 movies. The late Joel Schumacher was 3 movies. And you know, when you get a dialogue, the element of trust is very important.
Right.
But I can't overstate that every movie is a clean slate. Everything is completely different. All the formulae that you might have had for former projects is thrown out the window, and you have to start from scratch. That's where it's the same. You know, Julie and I lived together for years and years. So the element of having one's roommate or one's husband or wife, you know, in quotient there, creates the opportunity to, in a relaxed manner, to discuss the project, you know, 24 hours a day if necessary. But it still comes down to Julie or another director has to hear what I'm doing, react to that, and it's the same process of collaboration, negotiation we have with every project.
So how important is collaboration and teamwork for you for the creative process?
In film, it's essential because in a movie, it's a director's vehicle. But the word collaboration is a very funny word because it obviously you collaborate with the director. However, there's performances on the screen. So you collaborate or interact with, let's say, Helen Mirren or Tony Hopkins or whatever, you know, and you see the actors' thoughts through their eyes, and they kind of invite you in to the type of music that either enhance the scene or repel you and distract. So it's that's a collaboration. Another collaboration is with Julie and or any director works with an editor, and the speed of the cuts of the edits and the environments, the set dressing, and all of these collaborative elements inform me, and I really love that. You know, as opposed to writing symphonies or string quartets or whatever, you don't have anything to hang your hat on.
I'm curious, were there any challenges in writing the score for the Glorias?
Yes, I mentioned that, and that was trying to find a unifying musical imperative when you're going through so many periods of time.
Okay. So that was, you'd say, the main challenge?
Yes, yes. In the past, some movies remain the same, like it's 1990 or 2000, whatever. And some movies changed, like Interview with the Vampire, had many periods. Right. And for 400 or 500 years of time. So that gives you something to hang your hat on. Still, you have to have a constant that makes you feel you're in the same movie with the composer.
Okay. So for the Glorias, what do you hope audiences take away from it and the music?
Well, her message of human rights. Women's rights is human rights. And the most important thing the movie, for me, brings across is the idea that listening is the most important thing. You have to, just sit down with a host of people you are either in conflict or on harmony with, but you have to listen. You have to take it in. And also the notion that she says, we are all linked in this world, not ranked. Linked, not ranked.
Okay. So you've had obviously a very long and illustrious career. Who are some of your musical influences?
Well, Randy, I was lucky enough to grow up, through the, it was a teenager in the late '60s. So I went to Woodstock. So, I was exposed to all those groups, all those various stylistic approaches to rock, for example. And I grew up, was lucky enough to grow up in Brooklyn, New York, where a short subway ride gets me to hear Miles Davis, and Dizzy Gillespie, and John Coltrane, and Mingus, and also gets me to the New York Philharmonic, gets me to the ballet, the opera. So just physically where I lived, I had so much beautiful stuff swimming around me at all times. And I grew up in a housing project. And when I open the window, I hear salsa, soul music, polka, whatever. So the splendor of hearing different styles of music and watching different dances is a lucky thing.
That's great. Yeah, to be exposed by so much great art.
Yes.
Nothing better. So I'm curious, what do you look for when picking projects?
They usually find me. It's usually a lucky thing where the project and myself find each other. I look for the intent and the aspiration of the director usually. If I have a feeling that the director is really passionate about the work and the project, there's a beautiful, clean motivation there. It's not just monetary or just a number of likes, so to speak. It's a aspirational connection.
Like a personal desire to get this done.
No, but personal desire to have the subject matter be illuminated.
Definitely, that's true art. So you mentioned earlier the late great Joel Schumacher, and
Yes,
you are one of the many composers to tackle the character of Batman. I'm curious, what was it like working on those two films?
Well, the first one was successful. The second one wasn't, and the first one was a lot of fun. And Joel Schumacher's imperative with those movies is to not take it too seriously, to make it, not disposable culture, but to make it fun, like the comic books were. A sense of you're in there to enjoy yourself. And his approach was very, very, very colorful, and the characters were very delineated. Like the zany characters were zany, the villains were villainous and very clear etched characters. And Batman Forever was a great project to work on. It had so many urban landscapes to work with, and neo-deco art and color and flair. And Batman and Robin was less successful. And I have a feeling everyone knew it wasn't quite adding up, but everyone put their best work into it and tried as hard as possible to bring it past the finish line.
Not a great film, Batman and Robin, that's for sure. But the music is very, very strong.
No, but Batman Forever as a film,
Yeah,
had stood out as being an alternative, a reasonable argument to the same material as that. It's a comic book.
yeah, it's a comic book in motion for sure.
That's right.
I'm curious. Did you ever have any conversations with Danny Elfman about that? Was it sort of like a passing the baton, or how was that? What was that relationship like?
I talked to, I had friendly conversations with Danny, but not about Batman. I think there was a new Batman, there was new Batmobile. I think Warner Brothers wanted from Danny and me to have big orchestral scores. Yeah. And sometimes both of us were influenced by late 19th century orchestral composers like Wagner, in the sense of brass, boldness,
very dramatic,
and in a sense almost operatic in that sense, and also without. When I got the okay to do the movie, I didn't go back and listen to Danny's scores. I enjoyed them when I heard them originally, but in retrospect, the similarity is that the large orchestral approach, and also because of the zany characters in that, we both had a chance to expand our repertoire with comic material, comic composing.
That's great. That's great. I love to hear that. Anecdotes from some classic films there. And another classic film, well, at least in my opinion, I wanted to ask you what it was like working on 1993's Demolition Man.
You'd consider that?
I mean, it's a fun movie going back,
I enjoyed reading the script and I enjoyed working on it. It's a similar situation as in Batman, in the sense that it had opportunity to work on a big score with a lot of comedy in between. And then it had a futuristic element also. And that was an interesting part of my career, because right after that, I remember doing Heat, which is where a very challenging score to work with Michael Mann, who is very particular and very fastidious in the way he works. And before that, I worked on a little movie called Drugstore Cowboy, what gave me the opportunity to be kind of surrealistic and a kind of a less wide audience commercial.
Okay, that's great. And again, yeah, the genres, the styles, they're all over the place. I love it though. You still find a way to focus all of that energy. So I love it.
A Demolition Man was a lot of fun. Going back and listening to it, and I enjoyed working on it.
Yeah.
Joe Silver produced it, and I remember he saying, how many musicians did this particular composer had on this movie? And I said, I don't know, 80. So I'll give you 100. Do something. Do something with 100 musicians.
There you go. There you go. I love it. So are there any other upcoming projects, stuff you're working on now that you could discuss?
Well, it's always, yes, there's the Glorious soundtrack. I just released it digitally last week, but it's coming out in a few weeks on vinyl and as well as CD. But I'm working on classical stuff that I enjoy, personal work. One is a song cycle for an orchestra in Krakow, Poland, based on a beautiful poet, this woman, Barbara Sadowska, who talked about the difficulties in living under, totalitarian regimes.
Okay.
It's not fun like Demolition Man on the outside to talk about, but it's dear to my heart.
That's great. That's great. So yeah, Elliot, I want to thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. This was amazing. The Glorias is now out on Amazon Prime. It's really great. It's a fantastic film about Gloria Steinem. It taught me a bit about her life. So, if you're curious about her and her cause and what she's done and accomplished, it's really wonderful.
She's still going strong.
Yeah.
Right? She is. Yeah.
For sure. And Elliot, the vinyl, when is that released? Is there going to be a digital?
I don't know. It just went out to be pressed and all of that. So within a month or so, it should be out. For the New Year's. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Elliot, again, thank you so much. Congratulations on everything. And everyone watching, thank you so much. I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Randy.